Hi, it's Sports Replay here. This is how I went this week. Got 2,347, which is my best week so far in terms of round ranking of 8,153. Gone up in the season rank as well. Almost cracked the top 10,000. Happy about that. So we're heading in the right direction. And the main reason for that is because day costs and English didn't perform well. Those are the popular selections that I don't have. So it's pretty good. They performed poorly on my end. For me anyway. But on to my side, Jordan Dawson, 150, happy with that. Great game from him. He's just phenomenal. Other than last week, he's just been excellent. He's just, outstanding starting selection. And I do not regret, picking him now. It's just, I'm surprised he performed this well. I knew he was a good player, but not this good, to be honest. But, yeah, take a 150 any day of the week. Phenomenal. On to Jack Sinclair, 109. I thought he was scored a little bit better again, considering he was pretty good. One of the better players, but they're not a huge Supercoach side. St Kilda, they don't really score immensely with Supercoach. So 109, we'll take it, but when you want that 120 plus. On to Will Day, 97. Brought Will Day in this week. I thought he's a bit cheaper than Sicily, and I thought for the value, and since I want to get rid of Cowan, it just made sense. He's probably going to be a D6 or D5 at the moment, the way things are heading. He might be traded out later, but he's probably the last one to trade out, to be honest. He might even stay in the side the whole season, depending how things go. But 97, okay, average performance. I thought he'd get at 110, considering he was on like about 80 at three-quarter time, and he sort of drifted out of the game a little bit in the last quarter. It looked pretty good for the first three quarters. Jordan Ridley, 78, probably one of the most disappointing players in my side this week, to be honest. I mean, it was pretty poor for the first half and really just had a shocking first quarter, but never really got clicked in the gear. I mean, our defence line was just shocking for majority of the game, to be honest. It's just, not really the best from Ridley, not the worst, but he'd probably be trading out maybe at the buys once Essendon has their buy. He's maybe see you later. Depending on the buy structure and who do I need to trade in and who do I need to trade out, but he could have. It's going to be a tough decision. What I want to do with Ridley. He'd probably be a hold for this week because there's a few players I want to bring in and trade out before him. On to Sheasel, 107. I switched him into defence because I thought that's where the weaker line is in terms of forward, in terms of the rookies, and he did better this week. After, pretty poor last week. I think with Aaron Hall coming back in, it may affect him a little bit. And we might see the scores, slow down a little bit. I think Aaron Hall still did alright as well, but, him and Sheasel did alright compared to basically the whole North Melbourne side. They're pretty crap to begin with, North Melbourne. On to Charlie Constable, he didn't play. I don't know, Luke told him for McKenna, who scored 70, which is okay. But he's another player you might have to get rid of. I reckon Jones is probably one I'd probably need to get rid of first. I just think that's it for him. That's max price for Jones, unless he can get an 80 or 100 type score. I just can't see this getting much higher. And he's going to be traded to Shinkoda. I'm not too sure who to bring for the other trade, but we'll talk about that later in the video. On to the midfielders. Bozzapelli, 122. Just your average score for Bozzapelli. Didn't have that banana score like he did last week. I thought he might get the 150 this week, considering they're playing Hawthorn, but it wasn't as easy as games as I thought he might have. And I think he was playing forward line the last quarter too, so I don't know what Luke Beveridge is doing. He sometimes do that, which sort of stuffs up Bontempelli scoring, and maybe even a Brownlow medal too. That might stuff up scoring, but the umps love him, so he should do well there. But 122, look okay. And then next player I want to talk about is Clayton Oliver, 134. So I took the gamble and got 12 points. I was thinking about, maybe get the VC on at Royal Marshall as well. I was thinking about that, but ended up being, the wrong decision. Should have put Marshall's VC as the option, considering he has a, good record against Port Adelaide. But, it's a bit of hit and miss. You're going to back Bontempelli and Oliver against, crap sides like Hawthorn and North Melbourne. And look, it was his partner, Petrarca, who went 160. Well, I thought about bringing in for the midfield, should I? but I just thought there was other areas, I want to strengthen up before the midfield. And on to the Team Taranto, 140. Look, decent score, excellent from Taranto. A couple of weeks in a row now. He's played phenomenal last couple of weeks. Unlike Richmond, he's been the lone wolf, and I think just Richmond in general just cooked. And it's all over for Richmond, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, but they've lost 5 in a row. They won't make finals. Let's be real here. It's all over for Richmond. They need to rebuild. On to Tom Green, 118. Yeah, just your standard score. Played a bit better in the second half. And, GWS somehow got the win. Sydney choke. Also choke of the round, in my opinion. You lost from 4 goals up with 20 points, or 20 points, or 4 goals up with like 40 minutes left. That's just as a bigger choke as what my side Essendon did last week. And probably was in the end because, they had all the dominated that last quarter, having more inside 50s. And they really should have won that game, Sydney. Stats said everything. That's probably the choke of the year, in my opinion, to be honest. Some people may disagree, but Tom Green, decent score. On to Jacob Popper, 71. There's another disappointing player this round, to be honest. We'll talk about the next player I'll talk about in a minute who is been more disappointing than Hopper for this round. But 71, he's probably another player I'm going to look to trade on. He's been sort of a bit of an overrated selection, to be honest. I was never 100% sold on Hopper. Look, he still made 140k, but he's not that 100+ player, or not even 95. He hasn't averaged 95 yet. So he may be trotted out soon. I'll probably have to hold him this week. Oh, I could trade him. I'll have a look to see what players we could bring in. But ideally, I want to bring probably an Ashcroft off before a Hopper. But we'll just have to hold on. I need to have a look at the break-evens for that. But yeah, on to Setterfield, and disappointing. Just like Essendon was for the first half. But he just never clicked into gear, Setterfield. Just wasn't his game. He's probably a player we might have to look to move on now. And he hasn't, after the first 2 rounds, once ever brought him in, hasn't really, got those mega scores that we want, or, that 110, 120+ scores. He hasn't done that since. And it's sort of been a failed trading, to be honest. He gets you the 100k, and this is all brought him in because of the steel stuff up, to be honest. So look, what I'm going to do this, it's probably one of those decisions that's going to be tough. It's going to be a few tough decisions. Should I use up a boost? I've only got 2 left. I might hold the boost for this week and then go full next week maybe. I'll just have to have a look to see which players I want to target this week and next week. But he's probably one we might have to move on. Depending on the buy structure too. On to James Warple, 88. Look, he had a good first 3 quarters, but it's sort of, a good half I should say, but sort of drifted out the second half, just like Hawthorn. Look, it's been a mediocre selection. I've made 100k from him so far. I still reckon I can make more from Warple. 500k at most is the price I reckon he could reach. He just butchers the ball too often, and it's sort of hindering his scoring. If you just take a look and look for a teammate and actually hit the target, he could get that 100, 110 scores more often pretty easily, I reckon. Look, 88, he's going to be a hold for this round. He's not going to be a trade in or trade out, but he's probably another one I might trade on for once Hawthorn have had their bye. He still reckon I could get more out of this pick. We'll just have to hold on to him. On to Ashcroft, 103, and he's not unfortunately, but it's just made my decision harder. I'll just have to hold on to him now. That 103 score is going to be in his system. And yeah, look, phenomenal game, phenomenal goal he got. And look, he's going to be a star of the future. It's just one of those things how it just made my life harder as a Supercoach player because you want to, look, if you've scored at 140, he's definitely a keeper, or not keeper, but definitely a couple week hold. But it's just made my decision harder. I'm just going to have to hold on to him. In terms of the midfield, I don't know who else they bring. It's from Hopper down onwards. Hopper, Setterfield, Warfel, and Ashcroft. They just haven't been that consistent players we really need. I understand with Ashcroft, since she's a bit younger, but Setterfield, Warfel, and Hopper, they're ones I have to move on to probably a premium soon. And onto the bench, LDU getting out, which sort of stuffed up my round. I was looking to be a poor round, but a few things went my way. LDU getting injured before game or before the round started. Wasn't. I did pretty well considering LU didn't play. Hopefully he plays next week. It's another player that's been disappointing, but the midfield should be a bit stronger this week. On to M. Johnson, 53. Look, a bit better than last week. But look, that's okay score, I guess. Probably want a bit more. I'm not too sure if he holds his spot. I guess there's a lot of Fremantle players have underperformed this year. So it's going to be a tough ask for the Freo coach, Justin Longmire, to really make huge decisions. He's got to have to make. On to Roberts, he didn't play. So look, it's been a failed trading by the looks of it. Just a couple of these players are traded in. It's just they get injured. It just stuffs up, the whole plans. On to the rucks. Sean Darcy and Marshall did decent jobs, to be honest. Particularly Marshall, 159. Look, some people did take the VC score on VC'd Marshall. Look, it's one of those things where Marshall has been a bit inconsistent this season. But 159, I'm happy with that. And Darcy, 114, not his best, but he has improved his season average. And it's just a standard score from Darcy. He scored more than English, so gain advantage on those people. On to Radaglia. Disappointing for Radaglia, considering, Geelong played alright game, they won. Radaglia was poor, so now it's looking like I might have to trade into a ruck rookie, or just hold on to Radaglia till he either gets dropped or to the buys. So it's one of those decisions. Should you bring in another rookie, cash in on that, a ruck rookie? I'm not too sure who's coming up on the bubble for the rucks. It's not too limited. There's not a huge supply, unfortunately, so I'll probably have to hold on to him for now by the looks of it. On to the forward line. Josh Dunkley, 109. He's got his season average bang on. I mean, you could be more accurate with that. Just your average score from Dunkley. Not going to talk too much about him. On to Rosie, 96. A little disappointing from Rosie. Considering Port Adelaide won off what he may score 110 or 120. And it's just like with Dunkley. A lot of everyone has him. So it's there's not really too much to talk about. It wasn't terrible or good. On to Errol Goulden, 119. A lot better this week. I mean, Sydney were a lot better, but they did play a weaker opposition, and they really should have won. Choke of the season, but Aaron Goulden, phenomenal score. Well, not phenomenal, but good score, considering he had a poor week. It's maybe been a little disappointing this season in terms of Supercoach scoring. We'll expect him to get 100, 105, or close to that. I mean, he hasn't been too far off the pace other than last week, which is sort of hindering his average scorers. That's it for Goulden. On to Chandler, 104, outstanding. He's just been second best rookie of the season, in my opinion. Oh, maybe Ashcroft, but Chandler had a lower score. Was the cheapest starting price. So, look, happy with Chandler. Phenomenal. I mean, he's been, one of the key forwards, key pressure forwards, I should say. He's scored quite a few goals. I mean, it's just phenomenal. On to Ray Roden. I can't pronounce his name. 33, disappointing. He got one goal, but just didn't do much else, to be honest. And it's just a bit frustrating when you have him on field and he doesn't do that well, and it's just. But on to Mitchell, 41. I don't know what's his name was doing. Sam Mitchell doing. Subbing him off. He wasn't playing that poorly. He was on track to get like a 60 or even a 70. And he just couldn't get that because of Mitchell. Just, what are you doing, Sam Mitchell? Frustrating. So look, it's going to halter cash down a little, I guess. Just sort of what we want. On to Davey, he didn't play. He was dropped. Will he play next week? I'm not too sure. But he's another player we might have to look to move on soon if he doesn't get selected. And on to Sturt, 25. Disappointing. Brought him in. And it's like, I had him on the bench, so it wasn't a big deal. I mean, Mitchell and Van Roden still outscore him. So it just shows how bad the forward rookies have done this week for us. It's just irritating because Stewart can score well, but I knew it was going to be a tough matchup against Brisbane at the Gabba. I wasn't expecting him to score well, but better than a 25. I was hoping for a bare minimum of 50. I know 50 would have been okay, considering they're playing Brisbane. But Freo in general been disappointing. Will he keep his spot, Stewart? I don't even think I've pronounced that right, but I'm not too sure if he will keep his spot, to be honest. It's just a lot of tough decisions, Fremantle will have to make. Look, overall, pretty happy with this week. Mate, things went my way for the most part, going up the ranks. In terms of the trades, I think Jones for Chincotta's a certain trade. For Chincotta's, he's just been outstanding last couple of weeks. I mean, Carlton absolutely smashed West Coast. It's probably a side. West Coast is just a team where I just don't know where they're going, and it's a team that has at least a little future, to be honest. So Carlton defender, why is it not popping up? What's going on here? Why is this not coming up? Anyway, I'm going to bring in Chincotta for that. For James, I'm not too sure who else I'm going to bring in for the trades. Who should I trade? Probably McKenna, to be honest, but I won't have that cash to bring in that Tom Stewart, which is sort of what I want. I'll need to have a look. I might be a double downgrade this week by the looks of it. Why isn't Chincotta not coming up? This is... Oh, well, thank you for watching. That's it for this week. Like and subscribe. Yeah, good score. I hope you guys did all right. Oh, there's Chincotta there. So there's a trade there. 222k. Won't be enough to bring in Stewart if I trade out McKenna. And I'm not too sure who else to bring in. I might even have to trade a Setterfield and bring in a Laird or something like that. Or Neil, even a Petrarca. I'll just have to have a look because I'm not too sure what to do in terms of the second trade. It's going to be a tough selection for me to do, but thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.